speakers, we will go into our discussion, and we'll start with Commissioner Whalen.
Thank you. First of all, I can appreciate where the homeowners are coming from. I understand and am empathetic. I also appreciate the creativity you've shown. Normally, when we get these situations, people just show up and say no. So having alternatives that you could support that could work are good. Let's see. I actually worked on Bernardo Heights 100 years ago, and in those days, these golf course communities, the holes were meant to be the open space. We didn't have habitat conservation considerations like we do today. So I can understand the perception that that is the open space, and it's reflected in the relatively low percentage of other kinds of open space. I also agree that the Sudbury Shopping Center is going to be eventually repurposed, but it's a different topic than this. But I do appreciate that. And for the people in the audience, usually the AR1 is a holding zone. It's used as a way to sort of put property in a place where it can be dealt with later. So I wouldn't latch onto it as what the zoning is. But there's another one that's 10 acres, but it's the same purpose. I'll also point out that the plan amendment includes, besides low, medium residential, it also includes park and open space. So park and open space are what you want, and the amount of park and open space is really what's on the table, not whether it's there or not. I would like Mr. Frankel to come up real quick, please. This is, assuming you even got the ability to proceed with a project, this is not a development footprint that's the type that we normally seek in the development business. These are long, narrow. What is the concept for this property? What do you have in mind? You wouldn't be here if you didn't know what you wanted to do.
So I think, as we mentioned, and as you correctly mentioned, Commissioner Whalen, we want to make sure to have a balanced plan. And so some of these holes, as you can see, some are more suitable for development than others. You are correct that most golf courses you typically see do have many contiguous holes, and here you have more non-contiguous parcels. So I think we're going to take a very hard look at each hole individually to understand the context, both the surrounding residential units, their type and density, as well as I think designing around a minimum buffer for all residents. In our previous redevelopment efforts, we have found that minimum open space buffers for all between any new and existing home is really, really critical, and that concept would be employed here as well.
I think I want to drill down a little bit. So would these be cul-de-sacs for each one of these holes coming off of existing streets? And are they wide enough for double-loaded streets?
They are, generally speaking. Each hole does have ingress and egress challenges. We have met with staff on a preliminary basis, on a preliminary review, to discuss both frontage issues and site distance, access, things like that. So again, there are some that are suitable and meet city requirements. There are others that will not.
Have these been shared with the community?
They have not yet, no.
When will that be starting?
Well, provided that we have the ability to proceed, we look forward to sharing that information, as well as all the kind of basic design parameters with the community as soon as possible.
Are you authorized to speak on behalf of the property owner?
I'm not, no. We do not own this property. We have been granted the option to purchase it in the event that we are able to successfully get a plan approved.
So if you're not authorized to speak on behalf of the property owner and the property owner won't speak to the community, how does this work? I'm troubled by that.
Yeah, I understand. I think that we, which is not uncommon for us, that often we have to act as a good faith broker between a property owner that's seeking to maximize return and the community. And we have a lot of experience doing that. And so what we will hope to do is that in the event we have the privilege of proceeding, we'll work closely with the community and be a voice for delivering that message through our planning process, through our actual design and our plan, and hopefully transmitting those concerns by the community to the property owner.
Okay, well, I'm willing to support the initiation, and I know the work you've done in Harmony Grove and Escondido Country Club, so I know you do what you say you're going to do. But I'm not okay with the fact that the property owner is not communicating with the community. And I'll let the other folks speak first.
Understood. Thank you.
Commissioner Austin.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. The owner that I guess is not speaking with the community, how long has that owner owned the land? Is this the owner that's been there for a long time and been in that community for a long time?
Commissioner Austin, Marcela Escobar-Eck with Atlantis Group. Let me clarify something. I'm not representing the owner. I work for New Urban West, but I've been involved with some situations that the owner has had. The owner actually was communicating with the community. He actually had to send a cease and desist letter to Mr. Troy Dawn because he was actually out marketing the property. Okay, well, I can only speak to what we've been told and what the letter contained.
Before you go on, please, everybody, this is a contentious item. We realize that it doesn't help whatsoever to have any outcries, so we'd appreciate, let the speaker speak. Please sit down, sir. Please. Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize. So anyway, so there was a cease and desist letter that was actually sent to some folks that were out there marketing the property. So there is a little bit of history there. We will make sure, obviously, that...
My question is real simple. How long has the current owner owned the property?
I actually don't know. Kathy, do you know? Since 2007.
Since 2007.
And actually, Kathy was the original developer on it, believe it or not, of the property. But the current owner has owned the golf course since 2007.
He was operating this as a golf course for 10 years or so before it closed. Is that
yes,
correct?
And Kathy, maybe you can come up and clarify if there's any further questions on that.
All right, just trying to get a little background. How many acres, staff, how many acres are involved in the piece of property that's looking for the initiation?
As stated in the staff report, it's approximately 167 acres.
Okay. And that's what I thought. I just want to make sure it's on the record. I had it correct. 167 acres. Okay. Yeah, one of the things I'm just trying to weigh here is I can imagine if I had a home that I purchased on a golf course and thought that I would at least have that open space for the rest of my time there, I'd probably be feeling about the same way the rest of the neighbors are. It's pretty upsetting. You want a certain amount of predictability in your life. I'm weighing that with the fact that San Diego has, of course, an extreme shortage of housing. I think the last time I heard it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 180,000 units short and getting worse every month. So the thing I'm concerned about is, I guess, I'm trying to find, is there any way to create a solution that would provide housing, but keep open space in a way that I look at these long fingers and I'm trying to imagine how you put housing and access in there. And it's difficult. I'm an architect and a planner. I've been doing it for a long time. But if you look at 167 acres, and if somebody said, well, gee, there's 300 units that are going to be built there. You can build those 300 units in 10 acres. You don't need 167 acres. So you could provide for the housing shortage in a creative way that retains more open space. The opponents to this have brought up some pretty creative ideas that may have some economic balance, or maybe something where you work out something with the neighborhood. The reality is you're never going to find that out till you dig in, roll up your sleeves, and find out what's possible in a good faith effort. Obviously, if the neighbors had enough money to purchase this, they could go the direction they want to go. In this case, I'm trying to find that balance, but that's why I was wondering about, when you'd start looking at alternatives. And right now, we really don't have those to look at. We have these potential benefits. We have these potential conflicts with the neighbors. Being a designer, I'm sort of a cockeyed optimist. I think there's a way to provide housing and open space and an economic value. I'm just going to stop there because I don't know where to go with this right now. But I'm really conflicted with this need for housing, need for predictability. These people came in and bought this, and these these lots are space that I see in here that could be more easily developed than others. So until I see a plan and a vision, it's hard to imagine, but an initiation, as long as you go in with certain goals in mind, I can see that you could potentially have a good outcome. I'll stop there.